I call upon the spirit of the owl, messenger of wisdom. Welcome to the temple of the owl. Merry meet. My name is Mattal. How are you guys doing today? I hope you're having an amazing day. This is episode 3, the Wheel of the Year, here at the Temple of the Owl, located deep in the forests of Northern California. Thank you for following us on Spotify, and I hope that you enjoy the show. You can also hear us on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And please check out troubledminds.org, where you can find everything you need to know about troubled minds. Also, check out my friend Rohan of the Exiled Minds podcast. And thank you to both of them for helping to produce the show. And he's the one that made that really awesome music at the beginning. You can find him and many other awesome friends I have met on this journey at troubledminds.com/friends. I wanted to have a little PSA. This show is and always will be about sharing knowledge. What you do with that knowledge is up to you. Now, I'm not preaching. I'm not telling you to do this or do that. I'm just asking you to open your minds and let's talk about things. And I want you to know, when it comes to these spiritual paths, there is no such thing as a right or wrong spiritual path. There is only your spiritual path. So take the knowledge and do what you want with it. This episode is called The Wheel of the Year. And I wanted to teach the Wheel of the Year, like what it means, why we celebrate it, and why we do some of the things that we do. But there's a lot here. There's so much information that I decided to break it up into sections. And I thought it would be cool if we could learn and celebrate the wheel together. So I wanted to do this episode just kind of a summary, talking about what it's all about, like lay down the basics. And then on the next episode, I will be talking about the next holiday, which is Lunasaw, coming up on August 1st. And it's kind of an important one. It's part of the wheel, and I feel connected to that one because that's also my birthday. And I feel kind of connected that I could share my birthday with the pagan holiday. So we'll be doing that episode when it comes, and then after that, we will do each episode as it comes. So, in September, we'll do one for Maven, and so on and so forth. We'll go follow the Wheel of the Year, and we will celebrate it together. I thought that'd be pretty cool. So there will be 8 total episodes, plus this one. So today, the message of the day, the MOD. It's just inspirational quote I find to help kind of put where I'm going with this, what topic I want to talk about. And so I found this quote. I just found this on the internet. There's no person to contribute it to. But this is just a random quote from the internet I found. It says, "Like the ever-turning wheel of the year, life is a journey of constant change and renewal. Embrace each season, for within its rhythm lies the beauty of growth, the power of transformation, and the promise of endless possibilities." I thought that was pretty cool. So the Wheel of the Year is a term used by modern pagan and Wiccan traditions to describe the cycle of seasonal festivals and celebrations. It represents the changing seasons and the natural rhythm of the earth. The wheel of the year is often associated with the agricultural cycle, the solstices, equinox, and the 4 major cross-quarter days. The wheel of the year typically consists of 8 festivals, divided into 2 main categories: the solstices, the equinox, and the cross-quarter days. Here is a brief overview of the 8 festivals. Samhain. Number 1, Samhain, October 31st or November 1st, also known as Halloween. Samhain marks the beginning of the wheel of the year, and it is associated with honoring the ancestors, remembering the deceased, and embracing the concept of death and rebirth. Number 2, Yule, around December 21st, also known as the winter solstice. Yule celebrates the rebirth of the sun and the return of longer days. It is a time of introspection, renewal, and celebrating the light in the midst of the darkness. Number 3, Imbolc, February 1st or 2nd. Imbolc heralds the approach of spring and is associated with the awakening of the earth, the return of fertility. It is a time to honor the goddess Brig and engage in purification rituals. Number 4, Ostara, around March 21st. Ostara, or the spring equinox, marks the official arrival of spring. It celebrates the balance between light and darkness and symbolizes growth, new beginnings, and the fertility of the land. Number 5, Beltane, May 1st. Beltane marks the arrival of summer and is associated with fertility, passion, and abundance. It is a time of joyous celebration, often including rituals to bless crops, livestock, and relationships. Number 6, Litha, around June 21st. Also known as the summer solstice or midsummer, Litha celebrates the peak of the sun's power, and it's time to honor the abundance of nature, enjoy the longest day of the year, and engage in rituals related to personal growth and empowerment. Number 7, Lammas or Lunasa, August 1st or 2nd. Lunasa represents the first harvest of the year, and it's time to give thanks for the abundance of the land, engaging in crafting and baking in honor of the god Lu. Number 8, Mabon, around September 21st. Mabon, or the autumn equinox, marks the arrival of autumn and the balance between light and darkness. It is a time to celebrate the second harvest, give thanks, and reflect on the balance within ourselves. The wheel of the year works like a cylindrical representation of the changing seasons and the natural rhythms of the earth. It follows the cycle of the solstices, equinoxes, and cross-quarter days, marking important points throughout the year. So I want you guys to imagine like a wheel, a circle, and representing 1 year. And on the circle, there's 8 lines splitting it like a pizza or a pie, or like a pirate ship wheel with 8 spokes. On each point is a holiday, and as we travel around the wheel and celebrate the points. The Celts were known for their 4 agricultural holidays, or fire festivals. The fire festivals are about transformation and purification. The year is divided in half: the growing season, marked by Beltane, and the dying season, marked by Samhain. The circle is cut in half again and marked by Imbolc for transforming winter into spring, and Lunasa to prepare the harvest before the dying season. Here's a breakdown of how that works. The solstices. The solstices mark the points of the year where the sun reaches its highest, the summer solstice, or the lowest point in the sky, which is the winter solstice. The summer solstice, around June 21st, is the longest day of the year, and it represents the peak of the sun's power. And of course, this is in the northern hemisphere. The winter solstice, around December 21st, is the shortest day of the year and represents the rebirth of the sun as the days begin to lengthen. The equinoxes. The equinoxes occur when the day and night are of equal length, signifying the balance between light and darkness. The spring equinox, March 21st. This marks the beginning of spring, and the days start to become longer than the nights. The autumn equinox, September 21st. This marks the beginning of autumn, when the days start to become shorter than the nights. The cross-quarter days. The cross-quarter days fall between the solstices and the equinox, representing the midpoints of each season. These are the cross-quarter days. Samhain, October 31st. The cross-quarter day marks the transition from autumn to winter and is associated with honoring the ancestors and the thinning of the veil between the physical and the spiritual realm. Imbolc, February 1st. This cross-quarter day marks the transition from winter to spring and is associated with the awakening of the earth and the return of fertility. Beltane, May 1st. This cross-quarter day marks the transition from spring to summer and is associated with fertility, abundance, and the blossoming of nature. Lunasa, around August 1st. This cross-quarter day marks the transition from summer to autumn and is associated with the first harvest and gratitude for the abundance of the land. The wheel of the year reflects the seasonal changes, the cycles of growth and harvest, and the spiritual significance attached to each point. It provides a framework for observing and honoring these natural rhythms through rituals, celebrations, and personal reflection. Many individuals and communities who follow the wheel of the year align their practices and celebrations with these key points, recognizing the interconnectedness of nature, the divine, and their own spiritual journeys. The festivals are often celebrated through rituals, feasts, gatherings, and various customs within pagan and Wiccan communities. Different traditions and different individuals may have their own unique practices and interpretations of the wheel of the year, but the overall concept revolves around the cylindrical nature and the interconnectedness of life. As the wheel turns and the chimes change, so do the rituals. No two rituals are ever the same, and there are many traditions and cultures that are drawn upon. And that's what's so part of the magic, is you have the freedom to create your own. We are borrowing from multiple past traditions. Since we already know the history in the last episode, we know that our story has no scripture. We don't need one because we can follow the cycles of the earth and participate with it. Our myths follow the story of the goddess and god as they live, consummate, die, and are reborn. It all starts at the winter solstice. The goddess gives birth to the god on the winter solstice, and the god grows as the days begin to grow longer. The mother raises the child through in bulk, and their power resurrects the land after a winter. The child becomes a man, and the maiden returns during the spring as the earth becomes green. At Beltane, they consummate their union, symbolizing the animals reproducing in May. At summer solstice, the god becomes king and is challenged by his shadow, the horned god, and he comes from the underworld to overthrow the light half of the year. At Lughnasadh, the green god is sacrificed and defeated, letting the horned god rule for the dark half of the year. The old god journeys to the underworld at Mabon. The goddess follows him, and the land begins to wither at Samhain. The horned god rules, and the goddess opens the gateway between the worlds to be with her husband in the underworld. At the next solstice, she realizes that she is pregnant with his child. The new god battles and defeats his shadow. The horned god returns to the underworld, awaiting the next battle, and the cycle starts all over again. There is another story about the Oak King and the Holly King. They represent the living and dying half of the year, the waxing and the waning. The Oak King is a god of life, youth, and is the green man. The Holly King represents Maven, lost in the underworld until the fall harvest. At the solstices, they battle for supremacy over that half of the year. The Oak King rules the light half, and the Holly King rules the dark half of the year. Together, they represent the vegetation gods. It is symbolic of a sacrificed king, like grain, living, dying, and being reborn. The Greek god Dionysus was a resurrected god. In Roman, it was the god Bacchus. And in Egypt, the god Osiris was the first vegetation god. Perhaps that is why he is painted green in some of his art. Some believe that if witches didn't celebrate the turning of the wheel, the seasons wouldn't change. But all those traditions died out, and the sun still comes up every day, and the moon still changes cycles. So why do we celebrate? Well, do we know that the sun will rise tomorrow? Actually, no. But by celebrating the changing of the seasons, we can maintain a balance with the earth. We have to remember that humans are a part of the earth, and by observing the changes, we keep our bodies in harmony with it. People with allergies or adjusting to the weather as it changes report less difficulties when we celebrate the turning of the wheel. You become more in rhythm with the plants and the celestial bodies. We celebrate the holidays by aligning with the energy. Each one is flavored with a particular theme, represented by the story of the god and goddess. Each day is a gateway to gain knowledge and blessings from the earth. Most covens gather if they can and celebrate in group rituals. As a solitary witch, I feel connected to every person as they celebrate the ritual when I do my own. You can have intricate rituals or just take some time off and do a small meditation. Thank the gods and accept their blessings. The altar is decorated with the theme of the ritual, flowers and herbs growing at that time of the year. Sometimes a storyteller will tell a story of that time of the year. Celebrating the Wheel of the Year is about partnering and honoring the gods as the forces of nature. Make up your own ritual or adapt from others. Make it your own. The old traditions the celebrations could be 3 days long, and sometimes they were weeks long, and I like to celebrate it as the day before, the day of, and the day after. Of course, you want to try to get it to the closest of the peak of the energy, but if your work schedules don't match, you can always adapt. Sometimes the winter rituals are held at night, and the summer rituals are held at day. The ideal place to do them is outdoors, in nature, but they could also be done inside as well. Don't concern too much about the time and the place. Just make sure it is comfortable and you're aligning with the energy of the time. Concentrate on the energy you are trying to bring to the celebrations. I like to think of it as we're planning on our next year. So you plant the seeds of your thoughts at the beginning of the year. You grow them and nurture them, and then we harvest them and reap the rewards and benefits from the actions you have accomplished. The dark half of the year is about reflecting and giving thanks for those blessings as we plan to do it again in the spring. So I hope you guys are ready to receive the blessings that you have planted in the beginning of the year. So let's plan and think about the next holiday, which is Lunasa, and we'll be doing a whole episode on that. I'd like to thank everyone for listening. That's all I got for today. Thank everyone for listening on YouTube, and also for listening on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP, Digital Broadcasting. And I got one more quote here I'm going to add at the end. Amidst the turning wheel of the year, a witch finds solace and enchantment. We dance with the seasons, harnessing their energies, and honor the rhythm of nature's magic. With each cycle, we sow seeds of intentions and watch them bloom, embracing the ever-unfolding tapestry of life, mysteries, knowing that every twist and turn holds wisdom and wonderment. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Matt Sal, and I hope you guys have a great day. Blessed be.